Australia's drug regulator has given the go-ahead for a COVID vaccine for children. The Therapeutic Goods Administration approved the Pfizer dose for those aged between 12 and 16 last night. Australia's expert immunisation panel will consider how they will be included in the national rollout and decide which children are prioritised. Those with underlying health conditions are expected to receive fast-tracked approval. Joining me now live is Jonathan Carapetis, infectious disease expert and director of the Telethon Kids Institute. Jonathan, firstly, what do you make of this decision?
Well, Danica, I don't think any of us are surprised by it, which is the great news. We knew that this vaccine had been tested in children this age. It's been proven to be just as safe and just as effective as in older people and people older than 15. So we knew that it had gone through that process, and it's actually been approved and is being rolled out in other countries, for example, the United States. So it was really a matter of time before this decision was made to get it approved by the regulator. I guess now the challenge is, how do we get it out as soon as we can to the the kids who need it most, and how do they fit into that sort of priority pecking order, given that we don't have the supplies of Pfizer that would allow anyone who's eligible to get it?
Yeah, and what sort of factors need to be considered, do you think, when deciding how to include children into the rollout?
Yeah, so let me say that I would love it if we had enough Pfizer vaccine that anyone aged 12 and above could get access to it and could get access to it right now. I think that would be a massive step forward. That's not our reality. We know that we are getting more Pfizer vaccine coming in, but it's still coming in not fast enough for us to be able to immunise everybody, which means we have to prioritise. And the prioritisation needs to be around the people who are at greatest risk. And the reality is that, yes, kids do get COVID. They sometimes get severe COVID, and with the Delta strain, they can actually get quite sick, but it's still much less common than in adults. We also know that kids are involved in that transmission chain, so that if eventually we want to get to this herd immunity that we're all aware of, that is going to require kids being immunised. So there is no doubt that kids will need to be on the immunisation list at some point. My understanding and my expectation is that ATAGI will say, what we need to do, as you've just mentioned, is fast-track the kids who are very vulnerable, the kids with underlying health conditions or immune deficiencies, but that otherwise the immunisation more broadly of other 12 to 15-year-olds is going to have to wait until we've got enough vaccine and that we've covered off the groups in the older age groups. And I expect that's going to be a few months away from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, absolutely. It all depends as well on supply, of course. Jonathan Carapetis, thank you for joining me this afternoon.
Thanks, Danica.